Hey buddy, Megawer 31 back here for FSi DFS. Recording this on Tuesday night around 11 o'clock. So I usually do them in the morning, but with two slates tomorrow, I'm going to have to get up tomorrow morning to get Maine done. So uh, FanDuel has an 8 game slate. It starts at 12:10, and then DK has 6 game slate for early, and it starts at 1:05. So, just want to talk a little bit about today. Like, if you watched the video and played the core, like it's doing really well. Sorry about Burns, that just didn't work out. But Strider did really well, and the Milwaukee Bats came alive, hit 3 home runs in a row. Yelich, I believe, Tellis, and Adamas all hit the ball out of the park, and the fill-ins worked out. So looks like I'm going to be cashing pretty nicely on DK. Sorry, played a decent amount of different combinations with Strider on FanDuel, and I've got one lineup that's over like 200 points right now. I paired up the Chicago White Sox and the Cardinals, and Nolan Arenado, and Goldsmith had home runs, and Sheets had a home run, so that one's looking pretty decent too. So hopefully you're having a good night. Hopefully you saw most of the news for your trade deadline. I don't think it's going to super affect the teams. Obviously, San Diego got stronger, where they picked up Bell and Soto there. Tatis is coming back. But we've seen after the trade line before where some people have gone out and just gone in buying mode and put together a lot of guys, and the chemistry wasn't there. Now, it's a lot different than basketball, because in basketball, you have one ball to play with. And I think we all could see the writing on the wall when we saw Kyrie Irving and James Harden and Kevin Durant all signed with the Nets. We knew that wasn't going to work out because of another one ball. But in baseball, it's a little bit different. So, and you don't need as much chemistry, but then again, like, I don't know. I think San Diego is going to be good. They still have a tall task getting around the Dodgers, so we'll see what happens there. I do like some people, both built up their bullpens, built like better starting pitching rotations, and nobody really went into complete like wholesale mode. I mean, Washington obviously there, but I think it's going to be cool because we'll have a chance to like look at some of the young guys that they might bring up to fill in, and we'll try to get ahead of the curve on there to let you know when to play them before their prices shoot up or everybody else is on them. So try to keep you up to date there and see if there's any buy low candidates that we can take some advantage of. So let's get into this slate. Only a couple weather concerns, and again, I apologize. I always come back to this slate. Like I said, it's going to start like noon tomorrow, so by 11:30 a.m. if there's any updates, I'll try to post it if any of these pitchers changed overnight, because I think the biggest one I have a question with is Arizona, because I see Bumgarner for some place, I see Henry, a guy that they called up in other places, so we'll have to see what actually happens when we get closer to when the lineups release themselves. Weather-wise, like, things could really change here. I think the only situations of really watching is a little bit of rain in Philadelphia or Atlanta, when like in the summer, when isn't there rain in Atlanta? For Philadelphia and Atlanta, we got a really good pitching duel there against only on FanDuel. You got Wheeler and Morton, and the other thing to kind of we'll have to watch here is that Kansas City and the White Sox. Looks like about 40% chance of rain, but looks like winds might be blowing out of the field 17 to 20 miles per hour. Not as much effect as Wrigley, but still those Chicago winds really help carry the ball and really should help hitting there also. So if that is the case and the weather's going to hold up, that might be a really good situation. So let's jump into the slate and get going here. First game up, we have Seattle Mariners and New York Yankees, Luis Castillo and Garrett Coles. Why is Seattle trying to recreate the 2020-2021 like Cincinnati Reds roster? Over the offseason, they got Winker and they got Suarez, and now they're taking Castillo. It's just kind of weird. It's like this Western influx of Cincinnati players. So, but Castillo's decent. Yankees are always a scary lineup here. They got better left-handed wise again to hit up against righties. With Benintendi is much better upgrade over Gallo, who went to the Dodgers. No idea why they wanted him. And Carpenter's obviously been really good. Rizzo's always been really good. And then Hicks a switch hitter, although he hits lefties better. But any of these righties, like Judge hasn't done well righty on righty, and Donaldson, Torres, DeLemayhew, so just a really good hitting team. So I think Castillo's a little bit risky, but I think he's can still be in play in how small this slate is. Wouldn't take him on FanDuel unless you're playing like 150 max there, but in DK I think you can definitely consider him in GPPs. Cole on the other side, I think people will be kind of like trigger shy because he did give up a bunch of runs, so he finally got there with the strikeouts the last outing, but I think he'll be fine. Sometimes coming off the All-Star break, it's a couple stars before they get back in sync again after like just going out and pitching. Wait, actually, he skipped the All-Star break, so because never mind. But just not he didn't play in the game, but that's just having those couple days off. Then sometimes a little bit of a distraction there, and it just takes them a while to get going back. But anyways, the Mariners still have kind of a watered down lineup. Rodriguez is still out. I saw that France was like questionable, so it looks like he's like going to come back soon, but I still don't think that he's going to be a huge factor. Like if Cole was a lefty, I think it would be a bigger thing. So I think you can play Cole safely as your SP1. Yankees Bats would be my favorite GPP, and Seattle would be a leverage stack. Detroit and Minnesota Twins, Tyler Alexander and Joe Ryan. Tyler Alexander is absolutely horrible, so really love the Twins offense here. He's a fade for me. But Joe Ryan, he's been super, super solid. And Detroit, we know we love right-handed pitchers against them, or any pitchers against them. Even Anibal Sanchez had a bunch of strikeouts, I believe, against them a couple nights ago. So I think that we can definitely play Ryan here. I think love his price tag in the medium range, and I think he could also be an SP1 candidate on FanDuel if you don't want to pay up for Cole or Bieber or some of the other guys. So definitely like Ryan here. Detroit Bats are just a cheap, maybe even a leverage stack here. I mean, they can put up runs every so often, but not as often as you'd like them to. And Minnesota Twins on the other side here, I think, make a phenomenal stack. I love the righties here, especially like Miranda and Urshela. We'll have to see if Buxton's back in lineup. If he's not, and Garlick's banged up too. The only thing is, like, I love Nicky Gordon here. It's like a cheap outfielder, but he's lefty on lefty. So, but then again, Alexander might not last, and he'll get the Detroit bullpen, so he might be somebody to consider in the stack there. So I think you can play almost any of the Twins here. I'd focus on the righties just because the starter's a lefty, but other than that, I think you kind of just have to watch and see who actually starts and plays. Okay, so Arizona Diamondbacks and Cleveland Guardians. So we have Tommy Henry or Madison Bumgarner. Both are lefties, so it makes it a little bit easier for the breakdown. Shane Bieber on the other side. I know Bieber has had his struggles. Arizona got rid of Peralta. They've got some decent lefty hitters here, and some, McCartney and Beer and Vercherio and Thomas, and a couple of switch hitters in the lineup. So it looks like they're going to throw a lot of lefties out here. Even Marte is a switch hitter, so Christian Walker might be the only right-hander that Bieber sees, but I think he'll be fine here. Henry on the other side, he looks like he got decent major league or AAA numbers. His ERA was below 3. His WHIP was decent. He can get some strikeouts. So he maybe comes up and they don't have a book on him. Cleveland's a tough matchup. They don't strike out a ton, especially if Reyes is not in the lineup. But he usually crushes righties or lefties. So if he's I don't know if he's on the IL or just out resting for a couple days, an ailment or something. But if he's in the lineup, then. But I still think Henry, if you want to take a YOLO shot in a GPP to try to get some bats in, then I don't think it's a horrible idea, because sometimes some of these guys come up and if they haven't seen him before, know what to expect. If they done decent in minor leagues, they might be okay, or they get absolutely eaten alive. So it could go either way here. So obviously Cleveland Bats, you definitely like. Maybe Ramirez will actually come back, but he's like 6K, so he's pretty expensive there. Uh, and a lot of the other guys that we usually like playing are lefties, like Juan. It would be a lefty and lefty matchup, but I think it's still fine there. He's a pretty good hitter, so uh, you just have to see what lineups come out for tomorrow. So I think Cleveland would probably be my fourth favorite top stack, and Arizona would just be a lever stack if Bieber's going to get some ownership, especially with like all the lefties in the lineup there. Baltimore Orioles and Texas Rangers. Kyle Bradish and Martin Perez. Bradish is a pretty bad pitcher, young guy. Hopefully, maybe with a little bit more seasoning, he'll be able to figure things out. Perez is decent, but he's really soft throwing. Doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, and got a lot of right-handed bats here. So I think I'm not really interested in either pitcher. Um, Perez, like I definitely take Cole, Bieber, Castillo above him at his price point, and then Bradish I think just goes on the fade list here. Baltimore Bats, I think, fire up the righties here, or like Rushman, who's a split hitter. I mean, you can throw Mullins in there if you want to, the lefty-lefty matchup, but I'd probably just stick with the righties. Even like Urias and like Mateo and like Mountcastle, the ones hitting down, like Trinos as catcher. Like, if you want to go down in the bottom of the lineup, they should be decent too, just because, like I said, he just doesn't really blow the ball by anybody. His numbers have been decent, but I think it might be an opportunity. It's gonna be like 98 degrees in Texas there, and so hopefully like the roof's open and they're able to take advantage of the hot weather and the ball will be flying there. Rangers on the other side against Branish, I think definitely you could stack too. Seager, Heim, Lowe, same as yesterday. Those three lefties right there. You can mix in Simeon, Garcia, Tavares, a switch hitter, Cole Calhoun if he moves up. Josh Smith if he's hitting up higher in the lineup too. Also the lefties. So I'll just have to see how that lineup comes out. But Texas, I think, is my third favorite stack. Like Houston and Minnesota above them, but they're definitely in play against Bradish. Now we have the game, like I said, we don't really know here. But Brady Singer's been really good against the White Sox. He's actually, last two times out against him, have been super solid and putting up very, very good scores and shutting them down. And the White Sox have been, they came alive a little bit tonight. At this point, they have like 8 runs there and hit some home runs. But we'll have to see how the weather is tomorrow. But they've fallen under 500. They're managers falling asleep during games. It's just not a good situation, and they've got a lot of pieces there, a lot of talent. So we'll just have to see if they can like start to put it together. Probably see the manager fired after the end of the season, and probably next year they might start to come together. But young talent here, decent pitching. Just working through some injuries. It looks like Luis Roberts might be back in the lineup there. Like Jimenez was out for a lot of season. Anderson missed some time too. So Makata was out too, I believe. So like I just think it's been a beer bad luck for Chicago White Sox. Lance Lynn on the other side there, like he's been good or bad. So I don't know. I think he'd be my favorite cheap pitcher, but there's a little bit of risk with him. I have no problem like stacking Kansas City also against him. So again, we'll have to see what the weather is like with the rain and with the wind here. KC stack I definitely would like, and White Sox stack I think would probably be my fourth favorite GPP, just because other than today, just based on recent form, they just haven't been great, and Singer is just like shut them down. So but I highly would consider Singer as an SP2, maybe not in cash, but definitely in GPPs. Okay, final game on the slate here. We have Boston and Houston. We have Brian Bello against Jose Urquidy. Bello's just really struggled. Like, first game up, like, I thought he was going to be the greatest. Put him on the cover of the video. Just his K rate in the minor leagues and what he did, his stuff was electric. And maybe it will come, but it just hasn't yet. And Houston obviously is a very, very good team. So obviously, Urquidy on the other side, he's sporadic too. Like, I don't know like what to think here, because Xander sat out today. I don't know if he's injured or what's going on there. JD's been dealing with injuries. They're primarily lefty lineup now, and although they did get Pham, so potentially he will be ready to go. And if he hits up higher in the lineup, then he's interested because Urquidy's a reverse splits pitcher. So he definitely has a worse home run per 9 against righties than he does against lefties in power and contact, everything. So keep that in mind. So I think Urquidy can definitely be in play. I think I'd rather play Ryan or Singer over him. But it can't completely roll him out, and Bello is definitely a fade for me. So Red Sox against Urquidy, like focus on the righties there who are in the lineup. So if we get Pham and Xander and JD Martinez, and they picked up Hosmer, but that's another lefty. Yomar Sanchez, maybe Jeter Downs will pop in. Maybe he'll like lead off or something. He's like a minimum price second baseman. Keep that in mind because second base is for most of the lineups where, especially on FanDuel, where I was want to play the pitcher within the stack of the same team. And you can't like stack both teams fully because you need to have one off. Second base seems to be where I'm going one off the most for tomorrow. As for Houston, obviously, they added Mancini to their lineup and Christian Vasquez. Bello's been bad to both sides of the plate, so I think you can pretty much play anybody for Houston that you want in stack. So let's look at some lineup constructions, and we'll get you on the way for your early day here. So, oh, what happened? It didn't populate. I am so sorry about that. So, anyways, I'm taking Cole and Ryan in cash, and let me just bring up the DK app here, and I'll fill in the rest for you here. So obviously we had Cole and Ryan. Catcher, we'll have to. I'm probably gonna punt there. So I'm taking the Twins. So it's gonna be Miranda. It's gonna be Polanco here, Correa, and then we'll have to see who's in outfield. Buxton or Garlic if he's in for there. And it leaves you quite a bit of salary, especially if you punt a catcher and go like Urshela at third base for the twin stack. And you can get like 2 Yankees outfielders in here. You can get 2 Houston outfielders in here. Pretty much play whoever you want to with this lineup. Because Minnesota, like I said, I really, really like them in their matchup here against the left-hander in Alexander. And I'm just going to fill in with definitely some other power bats in better situations. I don't think I'm necessarily going to fully stack them, but we'll see what happens. FanDuel, Cole, if you can get up to him. Ryan, I'm fine if you drop down to him. Miranda, Altuve. Third base, you'll just have to decide. Are you going to go Bregman there? Are you going to go Urshela? Correa, Buxton, Garlic, Alvarez. If you do take Ryan, then figure out if you want to go like Tucker. If you want to take another Houston bat, then put them in the utility, and then the outfielder is the one off. Or if you play Houston or Minnesota in the outfield, if you can find enough guys that fit and that you want to play, then the utility obviously becomes a one off, and just pick the cheapest guy that you think is in the best situation. For GPP, I'm going to take Bieber, and then when I first built this, I was going with Baltimore and Texas because I just really like their match there. So like, pretty much focus on Baltimore, Rushman, Hayes, Santander, like whatever right-handed bats I could get in there. Then I'm taking the Texas left-handed bats, but I'm okay with like Simeon there at second base. So, but then, like I said, I saw the weather in Chicago and decided to there I'd go Bieber, and I'd probably go Urquidy because both these guys are that I want for an SP2 if I'm stacking the game. Doesn't make sense to play him at pitcher, or you can drop down to Henry if you really want to. But I'd probably take like either Perez or Melendez at catcher if I go there, or play him in the outfield. And then you have to decide if you're going to pay up for Abreu or take Pascual the Vinny Pass guy at first base for Kansas City if you want to save some money there. Second base, like I said, I'd probably just punt that there. Then third base, decide if you want to play Makata or not. Witt at shortstop or Anderson, whichever one you want to play there. And then whoever fits in, if you can get up to Roberts if he's back and looks like he's okay. Vaughn, Jimenez, Sheets, the White Sox outfielders. For GPP for FanDuel, I'm going to take Wheeler. I'm just going to take advantage of him against the Braves. Or you can drop down to Kikuchi. So both the guys aren't available on DK, but they are on FanDuel. So I like to play them for the GPP. And again, I'm going to go Kansas City and the White Sox unless that game gets rained out. If it does, then I'm going to flip it and be Baltimore and Texas. So right now, Perez and Melendez at catcher, throw the other one in utility. I kind of punt second base there. There's really nobody in the stack that works. Then I want Witt at third base, Anderson at shortstop. It's nice how Witt has third base eligibility, so you don't have to pick between the two like you do on DK. And then whatever Chicago White Sox outfielders you want there. So Jimenez, Roberts, Sheets, missing somebody there, Vaughn. So however you want to go. So like I said, just please check back the video around 11:30. So if the pitchers change, like doing this the night before, so when we're like over like 12 hours out, a lot of things can change. So just wanted to try to get you some information to get you going. So the morning you can get up if you want to play the slate, you can get your things in before work. I'm gonna go to bed now and get up tomorrow morning and break down the main slate. So that video should be coming up on the channel probably around like 7 o'clock a.m. tomorrow morning. So I appreciate you watching this. As always, if you have questions, put them in the comments below. Hit me up at Megaloro31. Thank you for some of those that have. I realized YouTube has like a tipping thing now and has sent some money. So obviously we're helping some people here. So we're really enjoy like doing this, just trying to help out people. My goal is to help like DFS players be able to stay in the game, be able to manage their bankroll and to do well. And I don't think I'm gonna, if I make you a millionaire, that's awesome. But I think the whole thing is just to try to have you not just get swept up and go in there and just lose all your money and not be able to enjoy to having the money on the line a little bit. It makes the games a little bit more exciting to watch and stuff, and you get those sweat nights every so often. So that's what my wish is for you, is that you're able to be able to just watch these videos and get some good information and just be able to stay in the game. So appreciate you watching. If you want more information on FSi DFS, you can check out the description of the video. All the information is there. So good luck in the slate tomorrow. And like I said, check out the channel for the main video. It will be coming up probably after around 7 o'clock in the morning. And I also have technical difficulties, but it will be up sometime in the morning time. So, and don't forget we have a podcast too. So check it out on Apple and Spotify. You can listen to us there if you don't have time to watch the video. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.